FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
The beginning of the war, when I arrived in 2006, is when it was right after. In 2006 was when it began to get really, really bad, and obviously we're writing a lot of stories about that Gulf and comparing it to before Saddam Hussein, before the American invasion, at which point there was intermarriage between Sunni and Shia. There were a lot of underlying tensions, but that there were relations, and it was considered in a lot of places impolite or just not allowed to ask about what sect they were part of. That began to change a lot, obviously, and obviously there continue to be huge confrontations, decisions, everything in Iraq based on sect. At the same time, you hear from a lot of people saying, when you ask them, as we often do for stories, the normal questions you would ask anyone in the world: what's your name, how old are you, where are you from? And we often ask what sect they're from. And a lot of people resent that and refuse to answer, and they say, well, I'm an Iraqi. And so on the one hand, you might say, well, that's a sign that the sectarian divide doesn't exist, and people want to say they're Iraqi, they don't want to say they're Sunni or Shia. On the other hand, some of those people who refuse to answer that question and say they're Iraqi I've had people say that who are reputed to be some of the most sectarian people, accused of killing and ordering the deaths and kidnappings of people of the opposite sect. So a lot of people pay lip service, and a lot of people want to say this was something created by the media and created by the United States government. And I think in some cases there is some truth to that, particularly some decisions made by the American government that exacerbated those tensions. But despite some of that attempt, I think, to not want to acknowledge that gulf that exists, especially on some people, it's very painful that there is now this huge, open, divisive, violent, horrific tension between the two sects when it didn't exist in some cases on the surface before. I think there's some desire to perhaps to explain that away. It didn't come from us; it came from outside. And as I said, in some cases it did, but I think it's undeniable that there is a very strong and real and dangerous division between the sects right now in Iraq.